Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good as well. I'm really excited. Got a couple of guests I'm going to be talking to. Leslie and Anna with InHonorOfDesign. Going to be talking about designing today, and I'm excited to find out a little more about what they're up to. But they're like bloggers that talk about designing. So get some ideas, it sounds like. An auto insurance company says eating while driving is the cause of many car crashes. Have you ever been in a car crash while eating and driving?
No.
You know,
but I could see that.
I was almost in a crash one time eating and driving. I spilled soup all over myself. And
You have eaten soup in the car.
No,
Don't even
I
pretend
haven't.
like you haven't. Yes,
When
you
did I do
have.
that? I was kidding.
No,
When did I
I've
do
seen
that?
you eat soup in the car.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious.
Like out of a bowl with a spoon?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yes, you have,
I
too.
don't remember that at all. All right. Hey, how is this for irony? The winner of a contest to find the most accident-prone person in an English town slipped and fell down and was badly bruised as she left her home to go get to the award ceremony.
Aw.
I think that's really
Why
funny.
is that funny?
Because she was winning an award for being accident prone and she got hurt on her way there. I just think that's really kind of ironic.
Oh, poor thing.
I know,
She's
I feel
living
terrible.
quite the life.
I know. They should have just
You
sent
get
it to
hurt
her.
so much that you get an award.
I agree. That's
It's
just
not a good way to live.
no. All right. We got some special things happening on this Friday. We'll tell you all about that in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, September the 2nd. Today is Bicentennial Day.
What?
I don't know. It's like bicentennial, but it's Bicentennial Day, which is, I don't know. That's a
Okay.
stretch. Even for a dude that likes puns,
Yeah, that's
it's
not
a bit
funny.
of a stretch. It's also VJ Day. It is Bring Your Manners to Work Day, Heidi.
I always bring my manners to work. I just keep them in my drawer.
Yeah, your bad
in
manners
case I
you
need
bring
them.
to work. Couch Hip Throwing Day begins today, for those of you that are interested in that. Today is Hug Your Boss Day, so I'll be chasing Heidi around here in just a moment. National College Colors Day today. National Lazy Moms Day today. What? Heidi? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Lazy
Wow.
Moms Day. That's not nice at all.
No,
Why would
it's
they
not nice
celebrate
at
a day?
all.
National No Patrick Day today. What? And National Sand Sculpting Day. So there you go. It's quite a day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. I got to go hug my boss. Come here, Heidi.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business. If it's done right, you can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time too. You decide when the messages are sent and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Sometimes an entire city government can get what they deserve. Take, for example, Kendleton, Texas. They thought this would be a great way to get other people to pay for the city's municipal budget. Beginning in 1990, the city became a 24-hour speed trap, so they could collect tons of money from speeding tickets. One problem, though. The city of Kendleton didn't realize that the state of Texas has a law against this kind of thing. Why? Because Texas didn't want cities to become predator cities, which ironically is what Kendleton, Texas became. So now the town has discovered that they owe the state of Texas $1.7 million
Whoa.
in unpaid speeding ticket debts.
That kind of backfired on
Yeah,
him.
the result is the state has taken every last cent from their bank account. The city has been forced into bankruptcy. So their whole plan was, hey, we're going to start catching speeders and we're going to build ourselves a really nice... Well, it didn't work out because the whole plan was designed to get other people to pay for their thing. Well, the state of Texas has a law against that. You'd think the city would have known that.
You would think so.
Who's running this town? I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So anyway, the whole plan kind of backfired. They started working on this in 1990. It took them since 1990 to raise this much money. Now, $1.7 million in unpaid speeding ticket debts because of this rule. It's all going to go away. So, that's too bad. Oh, that's too bad.
That's a shame.
I wonder what they have on their postcard for that town. think it's somebody getting a speeding ticket. That would actually be a really funny postcard for people to send. Visit Kendleton, Texas. We'll certainly pull you over. And, here's the thing. I've paid plenty of parking tickets, or not parking tickets. What are those things called for going fast? Speeding tickets.
Speeding tickets.
I've paid
Yes, you
plenty
have.
of those. But every one that I've ever had, I absolutely deserved other than one.
Yes,
and we've
you did.
talked about that in the past. So moving right along. This one here, it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain. And this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. In Albuquerque, New Mexico, Justin Alexander was having a big fight with his girlfriend. Don't know what his plans were, but he laced her drink with some sort of knockout drug, like a roofie kind of thing.
Okay. His girlfriend?
Yeah, and then they were arguing about something. So I'm not sure what his plan was, but he thought, "Hey, let's just calm down and have a drink." And he went and mixed up a drink for her. When he came back, he gave her the wrong one. So he drank the one that was laced with drugs.
And he knocked himself out.
Not only did he knock himself out, he fell and hit his head on the coffee table.
Oh, my.
And then afterwards, when he was laying on the floor, she's like, "What happened? Are you okay?" He goes, "Oh, I drank the wrong one. I drugged your drink." So he explained to her what happened.
Oh, my gosh.
Before dozing off to unconsciousness. He woke up in handcuffs. He was arrested. So, yeah, that's a bad idea. Don't drug somebody. And he got exactly what he had coming today,
Yeah,
too.
he did.
So,
That's fantastic. That's probably my favorite story you've ever shared.
I've got some good ones here. I had to choose, and that
She
one
had
made
somebody
the cut.
watching over her.
Oh, definitely. Coming up, we've got your moment of duh and your scoop of the day and so much more fun. It's a Saturday. And that's not a Saturday. It's a Friday. Yeah, I'm getting close to the weekend. It's a Friday, September the 2nd. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Got your moment of duh for this Friday. If you've ever used spray paint, you might notice right on the spray paint can, there's a thing that says, "Do not use near an open flame." Have you ever read that? Or "Do not use near flame."
Yeah.
Very flammable. 15-year-old boy from Hunterdon County, New Jersey, wanted to know what would happen if you toss an aerosol spray can into a fire. It was a bad idea.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a bad idea.
Terrible idea. Instead of asking somebody or maybe looking on the internet, he decided, "I'm going to do this myself." Just so you know, the answer is it will explode and give you second-degree burns if you're standing right next to it like he was. So Heidi has a fun story. When she was a kid, they were at a bonfire. It wasn't spray paint, but it was a can of cream corn that somebody threw in a bonfire thinking that it would be really funny. And then 4 hours later or
we
2
forgot
hours
all
later,
about it.
they completely forgot it was in there. And it finally had built up enough pressure to explode, shooting flaming cream corn everywhere. Everybody had cream corn burns all over their faces. That is also a very bad idea.
That was a very bad idea.
Don't do that, kids. Just, sounds tempting. Don't do it. Coming up, we're going to talk about the cheapest car for 2017. That's on the way.
The scoop of the day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. The cheapest car in the U.S. for 2017. The days of the $10,000 car probably behind us, Heidi. Penny pinchers can still find a good deal out there. What do you think is the cheapest car in the U.S. of A. for 2017?
I really don't know.
It is a Nissan Versa sedan. $12,825 is the starting price on that.
Really?
Yeah. So big price drops from some of their competitors still makes the Versa the cheapest. According to the article here, that's the cheapest new car in America. I haven't bought a new car in a few years, so I don't know that I'll be doing that again anytime soon. But, for those of you that are looking, hey, 3 desks and chairs for $10 is a great deal, but the review section for the set on Amazon shows that buyers are still unhappy. There's nothing wrong with the product. Disgruntled buyers failed to read the product dimensions before checking it out. They thought this was a really nice deal. $10, that's awesome. It's dollhouse furniture. It looks like real furniture on the link. I have a link to this, by the way, on our Facebook page. And it does. It looks like something you go, "Oh, hey, that looked really good in my office." when it shows up and it fits on your current desk.
Well, I'm sure there's measurements.
There is, but nobody was reading that. They were buying it thinking it was real furniture.
Right, because that's how much real furniture costs.
Yeah, well, that's the problem,
Yeah.
A
If
man,
something looks too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true.
Definitely.
Check into everything.
This could have been our brain on drugs, by the way, but it didn't make the cut because that other one was pretty good, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It was very good. A man with the name Hi was charged with pot possession. How funny is that? Police busted a man for marijuana possession in Hoboken, New Jersey, which is just fun to say. Say it, Heidi.
Hoboken.
See, isn't that fun?
That is fun.
His name was Hi. Hakeem Hi was arrested for marijuana intent to distribute, and his name is Hi. I think that's just kind of ironic. Finding Dory makes it back to theaters. Is it today? It's the Labor Day weekend, so yeah, it's making its way back to theaters. Opened in June, and somehow it's coming back out for Labor Day because, they raked in. It is the highest grossing animated film of all time domestically.
I don't get that.
$479 million bucks. And $931 million nation or worldwide rather. So now they're saying, hey, you know what? Let's throw that sucker back and see if we can catch some more. So for those of you,
I'm probably gonna get some hate mail, but I didn't even like Finding Nemo.
Oh, Heidi, how can we even live in the same household?
I didn't like Finding Nemo.
That was such a great show.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it was too.
So dumb.
Oh, I thought it was awesome. Just for the record, I thought it was a good show. Good movie.
Not as good as The Emperor's New Groove.
That was good.
That's the one they
Why
should
do we
put
even
back
have
in
this
theaters.
button? Hey, there's about to be a whole lot of babies named Simone, by the way. According to Time and Google Trends, they report the term Simone, baby name, increased 230% during the weeks of the Olympics. Most likely because of a young gymnast named Simone Biles and another one, a swimmer named Simone Manuel. And these two Simones did extremely well during the during the Olympics, rather. One was listed as the greatest gymnast of all time with 5 medals, 4 golds, and a bronze. And then Manuel tied for first in a 100-meter freestyle, becoming the first African-American woman to win a gold medal in individual swimming. I've got a story, by the way, if you want to read more about this, on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Pokemon Go just won't leave the news, Heidi.
Oh, my goodness.
It's back. I've got a couple of stories here that I'm going to just read this one, though. There's been no shortage of Pokemon Go-related spam since the app launched back in July. Has it only been since July?
It feels like forever, doesn't it?
Seems like it's been going on for years. Just like this election. I'm like, really? It's been like only a year and a half? I thought they've been running for like 6 years already. Well, thousands of potential Pokemon Go players in North America were recently targeted by a text message campaign pushing a malicious website. So there's somebody out there that came up with this concept. They're like, hey, let's push this out to all these Pokemon Go players, and then they'd click on it and they get a virus. So, and there's probably somebody out there cheering right now going, yay! Because there have been a lot of problems where Pokemon Go players have overtaken neighborhoods and caused problems at stores and all kinds of stuff. So if you're really into that, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry that I'm offending you. I'm sorry that you're really into that. But okay, now I'm sorry if I offended you. Moving right along, we've got a special guest, a couple of them coming up on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
When it comes to politics, quite often you have an opinion, especially for this election. How would you like a platform to let your opinion be heard? PoliticalStorm.com is that platform. It's a website with news from both sides, and you can chime in on any story, and you can add your own stories. You may even be invited to join me on my podcast for a chance to share your opinion, whether we agree or not. Sign up today at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice as well. PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. This is going to be a really fun program today because I've got a couple of young ladies joining me on the program. We're going to be talking about something that you either love it or you hate it, but going to talk about redecorating. And my wife absolutely loves redecorating. And this is a time of year where we're going to be kind of stuck inside for a little while. So that's a really good time to redo a room and make things look good. And joining us today, lifestyle bloggers and friends, Leslie Graham and Anna Leesmeyer. And we've got them on the line right now. How are you folks doing today?
Good morning. Hi, how are you?
Very good. We're excited to have you on the program. Now, you guys, first of all, how long have you been blogging? Is this something you've been doing for quite some time?
Yeah, gosh, 6 years now. Me too.
That is awesome.
We started on the same time.
And now, how long have you been doing things with home decor? Because that's something that is pretty near and dear to you as well, isn't it?
Yes, that kind of kind of fell into that further down the line, probably just a couple of years ago as when we rented our first home, and I wanted to make it feel like a home. So I started to dabble in the home decor department.
Nice. Nowadays, with the technology that we have, we were just talking about, you guys have a blog, so we can go on and read a blog and get some ideas from that. There are things out there like Pinterest. What is it that people should do when they're trying to redecorate a room and they're kind of planning on a little do-it-yourself project? Where should they even start?
I think that Pinterest is a great place to kind of, you start to see a pattern for what you're pinning and what you're drawn to, and that's a great way to narrow down the style goal that you're going for a room. And then I think Leslie would say the same thing, that once you have that, then it's easier to make decisions about those bigger pieces. And I'm a magazine girl, too. All day long. Yeah, paper. Cut up those magazines.
It's funny. My wife does that. She'll read a magazine, and then she'll cut that page out, and I'm like, what's that for? She goes, oh, I really like the staircase in this. I'm like, what are you going to do with that? So someday, apparently, we're going to build a house that's going to have all this cool stuff in it. So I don't know. That'll be really neat. Let's talk about the Style Swap Challenge with Home Decorators Collection. What was that, and how did you guys get involved in that?
So that was just a fun project that came about through our blog. We got to work with home decorators to swap rooms with each other to Leslie did my dining room, and I did her living room, but we worked closely together in the whole process, and so we helped each other with the goals of the space and narrowing down what we wanted to do and picking out our key pieces. So Leslie wanted a more modern farmhouse look, so we found some really great pieces, like her Gordon tufted sofa is one of the main pieces in the room, and it's just super comfortable and but it's also really stylish and chic. And the same with her old treasure scattered rug. It's got like more a pattern that kind of drew in more of a visual fun textile element. So that was kind of how we went about it. We worked together to figure out what our style and goals were, and then went from there.
And you were kind of talking about some key pieces to work around. And I remember a commercial a few years ago where there was a husband and a wife, and they were in this really cool architect-looking building, and the lady pulled out of a purse, her bag or whatever it was, pulled out a faucet, and she said, build a home around this. And, I thought it was really funny because it was a unique-looking faucet, and, the architect kind of looked at it and smiled, that's so true. You should find something that you absolutely like and has that as an anchor to design around, shouldn't you?
Look at you with your terms. Yes, that's exactly right. Definitely. And makes the decision process so much easier after that. You have something you love and you're 100% about, then you can make easier decisions from there. Yeah.
And I only have these terms because I'm reading the info you guys sent me, thank goodness. So
we tried to help you out.
I appreciate that. And maybe I shouldn't have admitted that, but people that listen to me, they know I'm not.
You would have sounded really cool.
Yeah, they know I'm not that smart. So now when you're working on a project, a lot of people are typically on a budget, so and they're going to be doing a lot of this stuff themselves. Are there some things that maybe they shouldn't try to do themselves? They should say, you know what, I'm going to leave that to the professional? Because you see the photos on Pinterest and on Facebook all the time, the nailed it, where, here's what it was supposed to look like, and here's what mine turned out like.
Yes.
Are there things that maybe are just a little more than the average person should tackle?
Yes, we actually outsourced a woodworker. Is that what you call him? To help us create some custom built-ins for the space. Which I think would have taken us about 4 days to do, and it took him about an hour. So
Nice.
You got to know where to outsource for sure. Right, and I wanted a more Spanish European vibe in our dining room, so I brought in a wall artist who did some aged brick and distressed walls. So that was a fun way to lay the foundation for that style, but something I definitely could not have accomplished. That would have definitely nailed it moment. Nailed it. I nailed myself to the wall somehow, yeah.
Literally nailed it. Now, I'm reading on the info here, and I'm going to read what it says, and I'm going to ask you what this means. It says, set your space apart with statement accessories. What is a statement accessory?
Ooh. Those are those pieces that really your eyes gravitate towards, but also that make or break a room. They can really make the room fantastic if you go with those right statement pieces. So, for instance, in Leslie's room, there's this beautiful beaded chandelier. It's called the Ellen Pot chandelier, and it's just got a really fun character to it. And it kind of reflects that goal in her space to, to be a more graduated, mature gathering place. And it's such a visually appealing piece, as well as like the old golden arched mirror she has that reflects the natural light. So it's a couple of those key pieces that can really set apart a space. And it can be pieces you already have. It can be, those are the few new pieces that you bring in. But they can really tie a room together. Yes.
Again, our guests today, Leslie Graham and Anna Leesmeyer of In Honor of Design. They're lifestyle bloggers. How do I find your blog if I want to go online? What is the website?
Yeah, so you can go to inhonorofdesign.com and lesliewgraham.com, and that's where you can find more images and info about this style swap. And then you can get all of the pieces at homedepot.com/home decorators.
Very cool. Thank you, ladies, so much for taking time to chat with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Again, it was a lot of fun, and I'm going to go. I've got some of the photos that I'm looking at right now. This is fun stuff. So, folks, if you want to be inspired, again, the website, inhonorofdesign.com. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This is the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. When you join, you'll be giving them the set of numbers that you want them to play, and that's what they will play for you. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, go to radiolottopool.com and join today. Again, that's radiolottopool.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Men can read smaller print than women. Did you know that?
I did know that.
How did you know that?
Because I've seen you read stuff that I can't read.
Well, it's just the two of us. I like reading like street signs from like 3 miles
I know,
away.
and I'm like, how can you read that?
I don't know. And the funny thing is I can't find something on my desk. I'm like, have you seen?
Yeah.
Like, that's right in front of you. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Atlantic Ocean is saltier than the Pacific Ocean.
Really?
Yeah, Pacifically, the Atlantic is. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
In India, there are 3.5 private telephones for every 100 people. Holy cow. That's not a lot of phones.
That's not a lot of phones.
No, you'd think they'd have more phones. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Before Mickey Mouse, Felix the Cat was the most popular cartoon character. I knew that because I watched the movie Walt Before Mickey, and Felix the Cat was listed in that, or he was mentioned in that movie. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
I think this is awesome. The Pentagon was allowed to choose the clothing that John Travolta wore in the movie Broken Arrow, so the military would be portrayed positively.
Oh.
I think that's really cool.
That's cool.
And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The word checkmate in chess means the king is dead. The Persian phrase is actually shatmat, which means the king is dead, but that's become checkmate. So shatmat means checkmate.
Interesting.
There you go. A couple of fun facts on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
Email marketing is affordable and a proven way to grow your business if it's done right. You can stay in contact with your customers to let them know when you have new things to offer. You stay in control the whole time too. You decide when the messages are sent and you decide what is being said. So you're constantly in control of your business image. You can do this, but don't try it on your own. Team up with one of the biggest names in email marketing, Constant Contact. Sign up for a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. Sign up now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. It is the second day of September. We are cruising through this year. I cannot believe it. Because we only got a couple left. There's October, and then there's November, and then there's December, and then we're done. And if you didn't know that, then
it starts over.
Yeah, then we start back in January. Hey, if you're feeling bummed out, you know what you're supposed to do? Like if you're depressed.
What's that?
And you're just not feeling like yourself, you're feeling blue.
What's that?
You're supposed to work out. It's usually what makes me feel blue.
No, I always do feel better after we've done something like that.
Here's why. According to a new report, exercise increases the production of a chemical in your brain that has shown antidepressant effects in mice. So it's like you have your own antidepressant built right into your brain, and it turns on when you start working out.
That's awesome.
Previous studies have found that exercise can help ease depression symptoms, but this new study found after mice had a week's worth of workouts on a running wheel, they showed altered activity in a total of 33 genes, the majority of which had never been identified before. The researchers said that this could actually lead to new methods of treating depression. So we should all get in a giant running wheel, and we'll be happier. Why don't they make those
I
for
would like
people?
a running wheel.
I would too. Do they make those?
I don't think so.
That
They
would-
make those inflatable ones you can like roll down
Well,
hills,
that's
but
not
I
the
think
same.
that's very dangerous.
Oh, remember the movie Toy back in the 80s?
Yeah.
Wonder Wheel.
Yeah.
I think that would have been awesome too, by the way. But I would like to get a running wheel. And I understand there's people right now saying they have that. It's called a treadmill. Well, that's just not as much
It's
fun.
not a wheel.
Wouldn't it be more fun to do a
It would be
wheel?
more fun.
And then if you could get running and grab a hold of it and spin in circles.
Yeah.
Knowing me, that would be a bad thing. Here's another video of a fat guy breaking his whole house on a spinning wheel. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
Let's talk business. If you're in business, you need a website. Come on, it's 2016. Do you really think the internet thing is not going to catch on? Many business owners that don't have a website think it's just too expensive. Well, now it's not. You can actually build a website setup for less than $30 a month. If you need help designing it or just laying something out, we're here to help you. Get a free trial right now at radiosavings.com. You can actually build the site and see it online for free during this trial. So why not check it out at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
There's a British company that has developed a smart dressing room that tells shoppers what not to wear. Do you like this idea?
No.
I think it sounds like a bad idea. Use 3D digital cameras in a dressing room to photograph your body, which, you know, when you're in the dressing room,
Right,
that's
it's
exactly what you
want
want. Things
having
taking
done.
pictures of
Yeah.
you. Makes precise measurements, more than 1,000 points on your body, and then it suggests clothes that would be flattering for your body type. It even offers specific advice like your bum looks too big, or words to that effect. A spokesperson says shoppers are free to ignore the advice if they want. You know,
Here's the thing.
I went into one of those.
Other shoppers can't ignore it in the dressing room right next to you when they hear a computer calling your
You
butt
what?
big.
You're what now?
So you have to walk out of that room after you're done being shamed publicly, and people are staring at you, snickering.
I actually used one of these. I went in there and it said, "You need to go to the tent and awning section." I didn't really use
That
one.
would just be awful.
It would be terrible. I can't even imagine.
To walk out all embarrassed,
I mean,
avoiding eye contact with people.
If
and-
I want someone to shame me for how I look, I just need to hang out with Heidi for a few minutes.
That's right.
I'll rent her out for the weekend, by the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
When it comes to politics, quite often you have an opinion, especially for this election. How would you like a platform to let your opinion be heard? PoliticalStorm.com is that platform. It's a website with news from both sides, and you can chime in on any story, and you can add your own stories. You may even be invited to join me on my podcast for a chance to share your opinion, whether we agree or not. Sign up today at PoliticalStorm.com. You have a choice, and now you have a voice as well. PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
We get hot, we get cranky, and many times we squabble over minor matters, like what kind of brats we should throw on the grill for our next get-together. Researchers have discovered that chilling out literally, like with a cold glass of ice water, could be the key to coming up to some sort of resolution when you're having an argument. So if you're fighting about things, you're supposed to have a cold beverage, maybe a cold alcoholic beverage, or maybe that's what led to the problem in the first place. They say having a glass of ice water could be the key to having this problem behind you. A study published in this month's issue of Dutch psychological journal Acta Psychologia, sure I nailed that. They examined the ability of temperature to influence a person's tendency to take another person's perspective more openly, or more, whatever seriously.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
They say cooler temperatures make us more vulnerable to such influences. So if you're trying to get somebody to see things your way, offer them a glass of ice water or iced tea or something first, and then say, by the way, you're going to build that wall, and you're going to pay for it. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of The John and Heidi Show is brought to you by The John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying The John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. If you're working a lot of overtime, you might want to rethink that plan, especially if you find you're generally unhappy with life. Would you say you're generally happy or unhappy?
It depends on which part of my life we're talking about.
I'm saying overall life. Heidi,
Overall,
how
my
are
life
you?
is good.
Yeah, I think so too. And for me, overall life is really good. I'm very happy. I've got a wonderful wife. I've got an awesome daughter and son. I've got 2 dogs that are pretty darn cool. Although we think one of them might be pregnant. We're trying to figure that out. So if you know how to tell.
I wonder if you can have a dog pee on one of those sticks.
Should we get one of these? If it happened, it was an unplanned pregnancy. We're not exactly sure. She's just acting really weird. We're like, what? That's not normal. Anyway, they say if you're working a lot of overtime, that could actually tend to make you less happy. Men and women who regularly work more than 40 hours a week have a high risk for developing anxiety and depression. According to a new study published by the Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine, the rates were also higher among less skilled workers than those with lower incomes. Specifically, the Norwegian study found that men who worked 40 hours a week or less had a 9% possible depression score. Men who worked 90 or 40 hours a week or less. So now they're talking about or less. That doesn't make any sense to me. Shouldn't it be or more?
Well, if they're not working enough, maybe with men, because men are the providers, because if they're not working enough, if they're not working a full week, maybe they feel like lesser.
I don't know.
Because I have read studies where men have this need to be the providers.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe that's what that part of it means.
I'm confused by that last line. So let's just pretend that last line doesn't exist and say, hey, maybe you shouldn't work so darn much. You know what? Today's a Friday. How about you take the next 2 days off? Huh?
That's a great idea.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news. I think this is really kind of a cool story. So it could have been anywhere in the program today, but I decided to put it here because I think it is good news. A tiny black tablet could prove to be a very big deal for impoverished countries on the Pacific Crest Trail. Researchers at the SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory and Stanford University. I got to just stop for a second to take a breath. That's a long name. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Anyway, they developed a tiny chiclet-sized device. So you know how big that?
Yeah.
It's like a tiny little itty-bitty thing, a little bigger than your thumbnail, that uses solar energy to disinfect water.
What?
Yeah. During lab experiments, this device killed 99.999% of bacteria present after just 20 minutes. Unlike boiling a pot of water, which requires fuel and energy, or purifying water, which requires an ultraviolet wand that needs to be recharged, these tiny little tablets need only sunlight, and they can be infinitely reused. So I've got a link to this story on our Facebook page. I just think it's fascinating. So this little thing that you put in the water, and it purifies the water, kills 99.999%.
I wonder how much water one of those things
I don't know. It doesn't say in here, but I'll bet if you click on the link, you could probably read the story. If you're really interested, Heidi, you would do that.
I'm interested.
Are you going to do that,
we
though?
should buy some.
Are you going to do that? Are you going to?
Probably not.
I didn't think. Here's the thing that's funny. There are times I'll be telling her about something that we've mentioned on the show, and I've shared it on Facebook. She's like, oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that. I'm like, I just told you about that 2 days ago. I shared it on our Facebook page, and you still are clueless?
I don't really listen
You
to
look
you.
at it, I don't pay attention. I usually hear you kind of wrapping things up, and then I chuckle once in a while like, oh, that was probably funny. He looked at me as though it was funny. I should laugh now. I'll let you get back to doing whatever it is you do. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.